Almost everyone in Growtopia nowadays is investing a portion of their wealth or almost even all of their wealth into something. And it's even one of the rich people's secrets on how to be rich. So like the next time you ask me, how do I profit? My answer to you, besides farming grow rewards, is investing. So what is this phenomena called investing and how does it exactly work? Investing is the act of putting money into something with the expectation of getting something in return. And with inflation going crazy nowadays, it's one of the best things that you can ever do. Check my video on inflation right here if you want to know about it more. There's another profit method that is quite similar with investing, and they call it buy and sell, or trading. Trading is essentially buy low and sell high, and with that profit method, you can earn like a few world locks per trade. While they're similar, they're still quite different. Unlike in trading, there are two main things that you should consider: time and risk. Time plays a crucial role in investing. If you do not know the basic structure of investing, it's buy, wait, and sell. If you noticed, there is a process of waiting there. Essentially, in investing, patience is key. There's a terminology that we call investment time horizon. Though not used, it basically is the time period wherein you hold your item for until you reach your desirable goal. And yes, this is what mainly separates trading and investing. There's still the concept of buy low and sell high, but you can't just buy an item for low and then sell it for high the next day. That isn't investing anymore. And so there are two types of investing categorized by time. First is your short-term investment, and then second is your long-term investment. Short-term investments typically last for a few weeks or a few months. They don't go and extend for more than a year. And usually, you don't really gain a lot from short-term investments. Long-term investments typically last for more than a year or for years. These are the times when you buy an item and then you quit for a few years, or even, you can say even months, that it's a short-term investment. And then when you come back, you'll just be surprised. This item is this expensive already? And what's better among the two, you ask? Well, it mostly depends on the amount of time that you're willing to wait out an investment for. But if you ask me what I personally recommend, I'd say long-term investments, although they are far more riskier. Risk is basically the possibility of something bad happening to you. A common saying about investing is that with higher gain comes higher risk, and with lower gain comes lower risk. Meaning, short-term investments, which normally gives you less gain, is less riskier as to compare to long-term investments, which gives you more gain but is far more riskier. So why is investing risky? Investing is pretty much risky and can cause you to lose world locks, mainly because of the law of supply and demand. When the supply is low and the demand is high, the price is typically high. Or when the supply is high and the demand is low, the price is typically low. More on that on my video on the law of supply and demand right here. Besides the usual scenarios that we see with supply and demand, there are other factors or circumstances that may affect the supply and demand of an item and eventually the price of an item. Firstly is the discovery of new metas, or basically people discovering new methods, new better methods, or better items to use, which oftentimes makes the old ones irrelevant, useless, and unpopular. And with the decline of an item's relevance and popularity, it causes an item's price to typically lower down a lot. Another scenario that might happen, which is often rare, are in-game changes that Ubisoft make. Just for example, the beast with the 1,000 eye mask and the giant eye head, which were added to Winterfest calendars.
Once. Wait, what? Wait, hold up. Wait.
This is something that is mostly out of the community's control, but do not be surprised if Ubisoft makes changes that would generally affect your investments. Mainly because when you invest, you're pretty much embracing that certain risk. Losing several diamond locks, blue gem locks from investing is natural. You're not always supposed to win. It's like gambling. You take risks and you either win something or lose everything. So, how do you know if you've lost or gained a lot from investing? Well, that's quite simple. With tracking, if you take down note of the item that you invested in, the time and date in which you invested in that item, and the price that you bought that item for, you can simply use this equation. The current price of the item, which is the present, minus the price of the item from when you bought it, which is the past. If the answer shows a positive, then that's a gain. If it shows a negative, then it's a loss. Here are some pieces of advice that I have for you if you're gonna start investing, or you just started investing, or even if you're already investing. Number one is to embrace all risks. It's important to acknowledge the existence of bad luck and risk out there. There are tendencies where you might lose a lot. There are tendencies where things might not really go your way. So I usually ask this question to myself: am I willing to take the risks? And if the answer is no, I don't proceed with it. And if the answer is yes, then go on. There's even sometimes that saying in investing is that investing is best done when you do not care. More on that on tip number 2. Invest what you're only willing to invest. Simply put, do not invest all your world blocks. Mostly if you're not entirely confident and if you're not willing to take that risk. Because once you lose half of your wealth, then it's gone forever. And back to what I was saying earlier, it's best to invest when you do not care. Because for example, if you invest into something and then you lose a lot of world blocks, you'd probably be like, okay, GG, I've lost a lot of world blocks. That's bad luck. Better luck next time in my next life. And so the question that I usually ask myself for this tip is, how many world blocks am I actually willing to lose? If you're not willing to lose anything, then don't invest. Like, please God, do not invest. Like I said earlier, you have to acknowledge all the risk and the possibility that your world blocks might just go poof. Tip number 3 is to trust your intuition. Intuition is so important that I think it's one of the most important assets that every investor must have. There are rare circumstances where something happens, or when a rumor spreads and then everyone starts panic buying and panic selling. You do not want to join that wave of dominoes. You have to learn how to assess the situation for yourself and ask yourself, should I really buy or sell this item? And then think long term. Is it really worth doing it just because other people are doing it? And if your gut feeling is saying yes, then follow it. And if it's saying no, then also follow it. Whatever path you'll take will either lead to something good or something bad. And based on your assessment, the better your assessment of the situation is, the better the outcome will be. And for my last tip, take every advice with a grain of salt. Always do your research and do not trust influencers, YouTubers, Instagrammers entirely, even your friends or some strangers from a Discord server. Because if you let someone tell you what item to invest in, you're just gonna feel disappointment if that ever fails because you don't know what you're doing. So investing is pretty much better done when you know what you're doing. If you're knowledgeable about what you're investing in, you should always ask yourself, why am I investing in this item? But Jim, isn't that contradicting that you're telling us not to trust influencers when you're here talking about influencing? Well, yeah, still take my advice with a grain of salt. It's your responsibility with what you want to do with the advices that I'm saying in this video. And that's it for the first part of the basic investing guide. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Subscribe!